It's so good to be, back around the racing.
Mikaela Shiffrin is back, and the energy surrounding her return is electric. You can see it in her face, hear it in her voice. This isn't just another race for her, it's personal. "I'm really happy to be here," she says, eyes glistening with emotion. There's a nervous excitement, an energy bubbling just beneath the surface. And honestly, can you blame her? After weeks of uncertainty, pain, and rehab, stepping back onto the slopes isn't just a comeback, it's a statement. But is she really ready? If you know anything about Shiffrin, you know she wouldn't be here if she didn't think she could handle it. She's never been the type to show up just to limp her way down a course. "When I'm standing in the start, I'm like, don't mess it up," she once said. That mindset hasn't changed. She's not here to coast, she's here to race. Still, there's a vulnerability in her honesty. "The thing is, you never know that you can win a race," she admits. "When I start a race, I'm nervous, and I don't know that I'm going to win." Coming from a skier who has dominated the slopes for years, that might be hard to believe. But if there's one thing Shiffrin has always been, it's real. She doesn't sugarcoat the grind, the pressure, the physical toll this sport takes. "Don't make people think that it's easy," she says. It's definitely not easy. It's kind of painful still. And yet, despite the struggle, she wouldn't trade it for anything. "I always considered myself a ski racer," she says. "I never decided that. I just think I was born with that mentality." So, now that she's back, everyone's watching. Fans, competitors, analysts, everybody wants to know, can she pick up right where she left off? Well, her return to the World Cup circuit is already making waves. With her next victory marking an insane 100th career win, the anticipation is off the charts. It's a milestone that may never be matched. And yet, Shiffrin isn't thinking about that. She's thinking about her body, her recovery, and the reality that she still isn't at 100%. In an interview with the Today Show, she laid it all out. "It's not painful. My muscles are working again. I've been able to get my strength built back up. I'm in a really good place physically, but, and there's always a but, she hasn't skied since Killington. That's no small detail. I'm coming back into competitions with the best athletes in the world," she admits. "They've been skiing, and they're in totally top form, and I'm coming back from ripping my oblique in half." Let that sink in for a second. Her return to competition in Courchevel couldn't be more fitting. This isn't just any stop on the World Cup Tour, it's her place. It's where she's won 7 events across 4 different disciplines. It's where she won 3 World Championship medals. It's where, in 2020, she found victory after suffering the unimaginable loss of her father. It's more than a race course, it's a chapter in her story. So when she finally pushed out of the start gate for the first time in 2 months, the emotions were running high. It was a slalom race under the lights, and all eyes were on her. The rust was there, you could see it. She got off her line a few times, fighting to control her body position. But then, in flashes, she reminded the world exactly who she is. In one section of the course, she posted the 3rd fastest time. She was catching glimpses of her old self. By the time the first run wrapped up, she was in 10th place. Not exactly where she's used to seeing her name, but considering the circumstances. An important step forward. "It was a very important step in my recovery to see how I am stacking up with the top skiers in the world," she told Eurosport. She didn't sugarcoat it. The race was tough, the track conditions were difficult, it wasn't easy. But she was back, and that in itself was a win. With the World Championships looming, her focus is clear. "I want to target the giant slalom, and everything depends on the next 10 days and how it goes with training," she says. "I'm catching up to the fastest in the world. I have a lot of work to do," and she's not kidding. Croatia's Zrinka Ljudic took the win with a total time of 1 minute and 45.06 seconds. Sweden's Sarah Hector, the Beijing 2022 giant slalom champion, wasn't far behind with 1:46.32, and Germany's Lena Dürr rounded out the top 3 at 1:46.34. Shiffrin, in comparison, finished in 1 minute and 47.10 seconds, more than 2 seconds behind Ljudic. For her, normally, that would be frustrating, but this wasn't a normal race. This was a test. "I'm catching up to the fastest in the world, so I have a lot of work to do," she said, "but I'm happy to be here." And that's the thing about Shiffrin. She knows what it takes. It's about rhythm, timing, finding that connection with the track again. "It was a little bit of my rhythm or timing to catch the track in the right way," she explained. "I was just fighting it a little bit, and as much as she might have wanted to fix it mid-race, she knew there was only one way to truly get back into top form. I had to race in order to know that." She's not just returning from an injury, she's rebuilding. And she's doing it in real time, under the spotlight, against the best in the world. That's what makes this comeback so fascinating. Because for Shiffrin, this isn't just about winning. It's about proving to herself, to everyone, that she's still got it. This return to competition isn't just another race for Shiffrin, it's a crucial step in her recovery. But make no mistake, stepping into the start gate doesn't mean she's fully healed. It actually doesn't even mean I'm recovered or I'm back to 100%, she clarifies. It means that we've gotten far enough in the recovery now that I'm strong enough physically and I've had enough turns of slalom to feel comfortable pushing out of the start gate. That's the key. Comfortable, not dominant, not flawless, just capable of being there, on that track, competing at a level she can live with. Despite finishing outside of the podium spots, Shiffrin was the only American of 5 starters to even make it through the first run. That alone says something. The slalom in Courchevel was no easy race. It was brutal. The course was set beautifully, but for her, it felt challenging. The top women are just skiing amazing, she admits. I really appreciate watching them, and I'm so happy to be back competing with them. The rust was evident, especially in her second run. She wasn't as stable as she usually is, nearly losing her balance towards the end of the second sector. She bled more time in the third. By the time she finished, she had clocked just the 22nd fastest run of the day. That's not something anyone is used to seeing next to her name. But if there's anything we've learned about Shiffrin, it's that she doesn't dwell on what was. She focuses on what will be. And what will be is the upcoming FIS Alpine Ski World Championships in Saalbach, Austria. That's where everything will be put to the test. The Women's World Cup circuit is now on a break, making way for the biggest event of the season. And guess who's about to be the most talked about athlete there? Mikaela Shiffrin. The pressure? It's astronomical. She's the most decorated active skier, male or female, in World Championships history. 14 medals, 7 golds, and now in Saalbach, she has the chance to tie or even break the all-time record of 15 set by Germany's Christel Kranz way back in the 1930s. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a record that has stood for nearly a century. That's the kind of history Shiffrin is brushing up against. But will she go for it? That's the question everyone's asking. Right now, she's focused on 2 key events: the women's giant slalom on February 13th and the slalom on February 15th. That's the plan. But will her body hold up? She's leaving room for flexibility. We have a really good plan to get some days on snow, she says. The next 10 days of training will be crucial. Every turn, every run, every single moment on the snow matters now. And let's be real, Shiffrin knows exactly what's at stake. This isn't just another World Championships for her. This could be the moment she cements her place in skiing history in a way no one ever has before. She has dominated this sport for over a decade. She has rewritten record books. She has defied expectations, shattered ceilings, and redefined what's possible on skis. And now, after battling through one of the toughest injuries of her career, she's on the verge of doing it all over again. That's the thing about Shiffrin. She's not just a skier, she's a fighter. And this comeback, it's not just about proving she can win again, it's about proving that she still belongs at the very top. Let's not forget, when she was forced to step away after that crash in Killington, the landscape of the competition didn't pause for her. The world kept spinning, races kept happening, and the best athletes in the sport kept pushing forward. While she was stuck on the sidelines, watching from a distance, the rest of the field was sharpening their edges, getting faster, getting better. And now she's got to chase them down. But if there's anyone who thrives under that kind of pressure, it's Mikaela Shiffrin. Saalbach is where everything could change. It's where the skeptics will either be silenced or proven right. It's where she will either remind the world why she's the greatest of her generation, or realize that this injury is an even bigger battle than she anticipated. No one, not even Shiffrin herself, knows which way it'll go. But that's what makes this return so captivating. Because in a sport where milliseconds separate glory from defeat, where the margins are razor thin, where one misstep can cost everything, Mikaela Shiffrin is stepping into the unknown. And we're all watching.